Do you ever play a game late at night, and somehow it's like a whole new experience? Not a different game, or even a different mood, just different. Music hits harder, the world feels quieter. Even going through areas you've seen hundreds of times suddenly feels strangely emotional. And for some reason, games that feel normal and routine during the day start feeling immersive again at night. You stop rushing, you stop checking things off. Sometimes you don't even care if you make progress. You just exist in the game for a while. At night, there are less distractions competing for your attention, fewer notifications, less noise around you, no outside pressure to be productive. It can almost feel like the world is on pause. This can help games feel more immersive. All of a sudden, a game you weren't invested in becomes one of your favorites because you actually have the time to absorb the game fully and enjoy it at your pace. Because the real world feels distant and small at nighttime, the worlds you explore in games seem to become larger. You notice just how much there is to explore, and you are actually interested in exploring it. Even small details you wouldn't normally pay attention to suddenly stand out and feel big. This also includes the music. Normally during the day, the music may get lost in the noise of everyday life, but when you have quiet, you can really appreciate the nuances of even the smallest melodies. I'm not saying you can't during the day, but at night, you can really see the full scope of what the developers were trying to achieve. And that is magical. When you play games during the day, your brain is likely still in efficiency mode, without you really realizing. This means that you are still objective and progress-oriented, and you feel pressured to make progress instead of just enjoying your time with the game. You tend to not play the game, you treat it as a task to be completed. At night, when there's no one around to watch you, and your brain is out of work mode, you can really slow down and enjoy the game how you want to. This can be seen in many ways through gameplay. You may find yourself wandering aimlessly and just heading toward whatever interests you. You may prioritize doing side quests when you don't usually do them. But also, this isn't saying that you can't and won't make progress. Quite the opposite sometimes. In the past, I've made a lot of progress on games at nighttime, because you get to have a couple hours of uninterrupted game time. So when you would usually stop because you had other things to do, you may continue playing and lose track of time, which, as time goes on and more responsibilities arise, it's harder and harder to do. So it's nice to get a bit of time to do that guilt-free. This may not initially make sense, because this can happen with new games, but why would you have nostalgia for a game you've never played before? Because it's not the games themselves, it's the conditions and environment around you while playing these games. Remember when you were younger and you would stay up late playing games, or at sleepovers you would play games with your friends all night long? Maybe you would occasionally sneak in some game time when you should have been sleeping. These things all happened at nighttime. When you do something you've always loved in an environment that you have nostalgia for, those things tend to overlap and bring the feeling of nostalgia even when it doesn't necessarily make sense. And maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you used to play games late and have memories associated with that. It could be the fact that being able to play for hours reminds you of when you were a kid, and it wasn't such a big deal to do so. It's just nice to be able to have these nostalgic feelings and reflect on the times you're fond of. You might be thinking I'm being crazy, but hear me out first. At nighttime, you're tired from the day. You're in your own space, being all comfy, so your mental guards are down, and you can be more emotionally absorbent. Because of this, some games can start feeling strangely real. This may be the reasoning that you found yourself really attached to characters and games as a whole, so much so that you might cry when a character dies or you finish the game. Personally, this is part of the reason that the end of Donkey Kong Bonanza and Tears of the Kingdom hit me so hard. I had spent nights playing these games, invested in the story and characters, and both times I finished the games late into the night, when I had been playing for hours leading up to that point, so it really felt like I was a part of the game, and my efforts had finally paid off. So it was cathartic to see the credits roll on a game I cherished so much. It's hard to fully put this feeling into words, but if you've experienced it, you know the feeling I'm talking about. And I bet if you're anything like me, you keep trying to find these feelings with other games, which actually leads into the next topic. This ties into the things we've already covered, like the fewer interruptions and more emotional absorption, but gaming at night almost feels separate from normal life. You're in a different environment than you normally would be, a different mindset to go with it, and you truly feel the games you are playing. All of this combined makes the experience more memorable than playing games during the day, because in most cases, it just feels like another part of your day that you always go through, and it doesn't feel special anymore because you are still in work mode and haven't had the time to wind down to fully appreciate the games you're experiencing. Maybe games don't actually change at night. Maybe nighttime is just one of the few moments where we slow down enough to fully feel them. Are you more of a late-night gamer or a daytime gamer? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing as it helps the channel out a ton. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and good gaming to you all.